So last week, there was a record-setting number that came out. Meta was ordered to pay out nearly $1 billion connected to a verdict against them in a lawsuit about social media and addiction. Now, a judge just kicked down the door for more lawsuits to be lodged against Mark Zuckerberg's company and other social media giants, by the way. Former Meta executive who's turned whistleblower, Kelly Stonelake, joins us right now. Kelly, welcome. Thank you for coming on. I think it's interesting that Meta's kind of in the news today. I was going to talk about the story we may at some point because Mark Zuckerberg's written this big thing about AI, and there's all these thoughts about, or at least in my head, about what companies are talking about behind the scenes, whether a new technology comes out and versus what they're saying in public. And I think that goes back to the social media conversation about what was it like there then? What did they know or what did they suspect versus what they were saying out loud?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I'm so grateful to be able to talk about this. And you're so right. The connection between social media and the verdict in New Mexico and the call to pause AI development by Senator Sanders today, they're so similar because we saw what happened in social media and we're seeing it now play out, right? When scale is prioritized and speed of growth is prioritized over safety. And then same in AI, right? We're seeing that there are increasingly more and more concerns and safety threats, and we're seeing those come to fruition in a way that we've now got this arms race, and in the name of innovation, we are kind of at odds as a country on how to move forward.
Yeah, right. So Bernie Sanders, you're right. He says, "All right, we got to pause all this AI stuff for now." Now, where that goes, I'm not sure. I think I have a pretty good guess of what the companies will say. But what about then, when social media was coming out? Was the internal conversation about, oh boy, look what we've created, this could be a disaster for kids and that kind of stuff, or was it something else?
Yeah, so I started working at Meta, then Facebook, in 2009, right? And back then, it was really, the conversations we were having were really about how to do right by the people that used our product, as well as how to build long-term sustainable business. That is a time and an era long gone now, because the last job I held there, which started in 2022, it was a consumer-facing product called Horizon Worlds, and the conversation in those rooms were about how we were going to keep the company safe from exposure, that we knew the product was connecting kids to unknown adults, that we knew we were violating federal law by connecting kids to other adults and sharing their data, collecting their data without parental control and consent. I just saw firsthand the smoke and mirrors and the sophisticated kind of internal and external propaganda by which the company that I had dedicated nearly 15 years at the end of the day to was operating. And so that's why I ultimately left the company after experiencing retaliation for not being willing to go along with the cover-up or to silence other concerned women, and then said no to the severance, no to the all the agreements that come with that, and have become a whistleblower.
Right. What do you think changed in that time? It's the same, overall leadership with Zuckerberg as CEO. Maybe there were some other things that changed. Where at some point along the line, the company got so big, or what happened that it was so concerned about lawsuits? Ironically, now leading maybe to perhaps more lawsuits.
Yeah, so I can't recommend enough Cory Doctorow's book, Enshittification, which really kind of describes the life cycle by which technology companies grow. That at the beginning, they really have to create value and do right by their customers. They have to deliver on the promise to improve people's lives through technology, or else they would not grow. But once they start accumulating power and privilege in the digital ecosystem and the broader ecosystem, the priorities shift, right? The company went public in, I believe, 2012, and now Meta serves the stockholder, including the #1 shareholder, Mark Zuckerberg, most of all.
Are you afraid of a repeat performance with other technologies being introduced? I mean, we mentioned AI as the obvious one, but in terms of, is the culture still the same?
Yeah, completely. I mean, it's the same in both social media and AI. Like if your definition of innovation doesn't include the ability to control the thing you're profiting from, you're really just dressing up greed as innovation. And I think that this is something that is a threat to kids. This is a threat to society, to democracy, and in the context of AI, potentially the entire kind of world's safety.
No, that's a really good way of putting it in terms of control, because that's what's happening. Obviously, we see it in real time with AI. We probably should have seen it earlier than we did with social media and the potential pitfalls.
Right.
So thank you, Kelly, for coming on and explaining that, and thank you for all you've done. Kelly Stonelake, there she, again, worked at Meta, then became a whistleblower. So we'll continue to talk about all of those stories. Here's one that's coming next. Road rage over insurance claims, right?